When it comes to funding, are tech startups in the Midwest or Southern U.S. at a disadvantage to those on either coast? Well, the fact is that the major startup centers originally was in California, Northern California, in a small area in Silicon Valley. And New York, when I started my first tech company in New York City in 1983, probably before half of those of you who are viewing this video were born, it was called the computer classroom. There was no tech industry in New York. None. Zero. Zip. Zilch. Nothing. And even by the time I started my first software company in New York in 1988, there was nothing here. In the late 80s, Red Herring Magazine described me as the patriarch of Silicon Alley because there were a total of 4 tech companies here, one of which was IBM, one of which was Bob Stein's Voyager, which did video discs, and there was our little software company, and I forgot who the 4th was. But it was a tiny, tiny world. And so New York, which was the center of a lot of business, came out of nowhere to be now the world's fastest growing tech center. So now it's absolutely safe to say you've got the coast, and by the coast we mean Northern California, Silicon Valley, and New York. But then you've got Boston, which was the heart of the mini computer and life sciences world, and that is a major, major play. You have Southern California, which again, like New York, did not have any kind of tech world, but it had an entertainment world, and it had a lot of interesting stuff happening there, a lot of media, and so that has turned into a very active center now. And what you're seeing is with technology that has enabled all kinds of businesses, it is now, in the same way we don't say you can't start a company in the Southwest because Edison invented distributable electricity in New Jersey, right? In the early days, you were working with the major urban centers, but today everybody can throw a light switch and get electricity. Same token, you now have technology in the form of cloud solutions and services and software, all this kind of stuff that's available everywhere to anybody. And so it's a wonderful catalyst. And so therefore, somehow, God didn't make all engineers just in Silicon Valley. When in the early days, you had a real problem. 15, 20 years ago, when we were building companies in New York, the biggest challenge we had was in getting trained engineers and staffers who had any kind of familiarity. But that's long gone. And so New York now has just about as many engineers as Silicon Valley does. And it may not be true today in the Midwest or the Southern U.S., but you are seeing a lot of development happening, and a lot of regional centers that are the business centers for their areas are also becoming now the startup magnets. Maybe not New York or Silicon Valley, but today there really is no reason, I believe, when you're starting out, to go to the coasts. You can do things virtually. You can start with your entrepreneurial spirit in the area that you're in, and then eventually, if for whatever reason you want to be close to your customers or to be close to particular partners or certain types of things, you can move to one of the coasts. But I would not say that that's now your highest priority. Find the startup center in your region and then go do it there.